a listing there, but every dog, every animal deserves a home. It's a shame where people just really do that. Yeah, we're going to drop the dog off 3 blocks down because it ate something in my house. Usually they eat something in the house when you're not there to care for the dog. A lot of people, they get more dog and not realize that they shouldn't be running around in the house all day long. They're looking for a backyard. And, but, people do what they do. But it's unfortunate that there's so much homelessness going on for animals these days, and neglect and negligence that goes on. And the biggest thing that they pointed out, this gentleman and his wife, is the abuse of animals, that people do the unthinkable to their dogs. They starve them, they go on vacation, and they don't give them enough food and water, and they're in their feces and urine. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you're better off having these dog watching companies come in where they'll pay, a teenager or a young person to dog sit. And there's companies all over the United States. And it actually has become a really big deal in many small towns too, even where, you're not babysitting a child, you're babysitting a dog. And some of these teenagers saying, hey, they can do their homework, they can take the dog out, entertain the dog, they can watch movies, they have run of the kitchen, and they just have to watch the pet. And they say they make really good money pet sitting. No kidding. So if you're looking for a part-time job or even a full-time job, you might want to look into maybe starting your own pet sitting business. Prerequisite, you gotta like animals. You gotta love them. Yeah, and there's cats and dogs. Birds, there's people are funny, can't let their birds be neglected, where they go in, you sit with their birds to keep them company. Because I've heard even birds, when they're lonely, they get anxiety and they'll start plucking off their feathers and doing weird things. I don't know, Nevin, if you're listening, I know you got birds. That's a contributor to our program in West Palm Beach. He loves birds, him and his wife. Chuck had birds. They were great birds. And they would say the funniest things to you. Smart, and they didn't have just the typical bird for brains. They were sweet. It's nice to have animals. I love animals. But again, it breaks your heart when you see the negligence, the neglect going on. So I'll keep you up to date. I'll let you know what's happening. By the way, Iran apparently did launch the rocket carrying the satellite, according to officials. I'm not happy about it. This violates the Obama deal, what John Kerry put together. What concerns me, folks, about this rocket launch with Iran is just that. It's Iran. If we honestly believed that they were peaceful and they did not mean any harm and it was just a weather satellite, it was just a satellite. They've never done this before, by the way. And they verified that this thing went into outer space. What we don't know, at least at this moment, is whether or not the satellite itself is actually in the orbit that was desired. But Iran's official media said that the launch was successful. Of course they did. But the U.S. officially couldn't immediately confirm if the rocket reached space and if the satellite successfully deployed. So still watching this, we do know that there was a launch. And as the media is pointing out today, and rightfully so, comes just 2 days after a U.S. Navy warship fired warning shots at an Iranian patrol boat in the Persian Gulf, the first such episode since President Trump took office. So I don't know if there's any irony there, but I don't trust the Iranians at all. Death to America, they chant it from their schools, and this is their credo towards the West. We're the great Satan. And I don't trust them. And to be up into outer space, God knows what they put in there, what's in there. I mean, listen, I'm a sci-fi guy. I kind of like watching that kind of stuff. But your mind can kind of get away from you when you think, God, maybe there's something armed in that satellite that actually could be launched towards the United States, kind of like an EMP over North America, which would actually shut our power grid down. Interesting read, I've told you before, but if you haven't heard of the book and you're a new listener, Ted Koppel's Lights Out is a great book, and it talks about how ISIS would love to do this and Iran, one of the leading sponsors of terrorism around the world, don't you think if they would be able to have the technology to be able to do these particular things, you don't think that they would do it? I think in a heartbeat. You don't think that they could put something extra, something up in a satellite over there? You bet, because we didn't inspect the satellite. They didn't ask UN inspectors. They didn't ask our inspectors to come over there and look at it. Hey, let's have a looky before you send that bad boy up there. If it's just a weather satellite, GPS satellite, science satellite, whatever. No, none of those things. So it violated everything. They weren't supposed to launch this. This was in there not to do it. And this brings them a lot closer, just like North Korea. Of course, they've been working together with technology, sharing technology. This is a developing story, so it'll be interesting to find out if anything actually did materialize in outer space. I am hoping it didn't. Folks, we're 100% listener supported. How refreshing. But it's you that makes the difference. Become a For the People supporter, won't you, today at forthepeopleshow.com. I am Keith Allen, For the People, saying all the best. May God bless.